Kyoto City is hundreds of kilometers away from Tokyo. The huge mansion with a century-old history of the Ito family is located in the center of Kyoto City. The Ito family residence is next to Nijo Castle, the residence of Oda Nobunaga, one of the three masters of the Warring States period in Japan. Although the area is slightly smaller than Nijo Castle, the overall area is larger than the largest single-family villa in Eastcliff. Even much more. Around the mansion, there is a moat dug during the war, and it still bears the responsibility of guarding the mansion. On the city wall, 360-degree surveillance with no dead ends was installed to ensure that this mansion would not be violated by anyone. And behind the towering city walls are bodyguards with live ammunition. The buildings in the mansion are all typical Japanese-style wooden buildings. Each one has a history of at least 100 years. There are dozens of ancient trees with a history of 100 years in the courtyard, plus those modeled and countless. The century-old stone sculptures are antique and full of charm. At this moment, in the large courtyard, a beautiful young woman is sitting alone in a wheelchair, looking up at the hazy sky. This beauty is the eldest lady of the Ito family, Nanako. She is waiting for the first snow this year in Kyoto. In the past, the snow in Kyoto would come a little earlier, but this winter is an exception. Although the winter of this year was cold, and every day was extremely cold, but no snow fell. Earlier today, the Kinki Regional Meteorological Department issued a heavy snow warning, saying that it will be heavy snow in Kyoto tonight, and Nanako loves snowing days, so she waited early in the yard. However, after waiting till late at night, there was still no trace of the heavy snow. The sky was very cloudy, there was no starlight, and even the moon could not be seen clearly. The housekeeper of Ito Mansion looked at Nanako from a distance for a long time. Seeing that it was late, he walked over and respectfully said, "Miss, it's late. It seems that the snow will not fall tonight, the weather's too cold, you should go back to your room and rest earlier." Nanako looked at the hazy moon in the sky and whispered softly, "Since the weather forecast has said, there is still some hope after all. You should go back to rest first and leave me alone." The housekeeper sighed slightly, and said distressed-edly, "Miss, or go back to rest first, I will arrange for someone to wait here. If it snows, let them notify you as soon as possible." Nanako smiled lightly and said, "I'm here to watch. I just want to see the first snowflake falling from the sky, and I want to feel the first snowflake on my face. I have waited for the snow to fall. If I go in now, I will lose the fun." The housekeeper hurriedly said, "But now it is cooling down, the temperature is getting lower and lower, and you will catch a cold if you stay outdoors for a long time." "It doesn't matter," Nanako said with a smile, "I will wait until 12 o'clock. No matter whether it is snowing or not, I will go back to my room to soak in a hot spring. You can rest assured, although I am injured, I still have relatively strong physical fitness. The temperature is colder, it will not have any effect on me." The housekeeper nodded helplessly, and said respectfully, "I'm nearby. Miss, call me whenever you have any needs." Nanako chuckled softly, "Okay, thank you." The butler carefully retreated to the distance, and Nanako continued to look up at the sky. For some reason, Charlie's appearance suddenly appeared in the cloudy night sky at this moment. She felt like spring blossoms in her heart, and thought to herself, "Master, don't know if it snows in Orus Hill? I wonder if you are looking at the night sky above your head now? Don't know, do if you will think of me?" Thinking wildly, the phone in her pocket suddenly vibrated. She took out her mobile phone and found that it was Hiroshi Tanaka who was calling, so she hurriedly put away her thoughts, connected to the phone and smiled. "Tanaka, why call me so late?" Hiroshi Tanaka sighed and said, "Miss, something happened today. The president is very angry. He just smashed a lot of antiques in the house." Nanako felt nervous, and hurriedly asked, "Tanaka, what happened? Is father having any trouble?" Koichi Tanaka said, "Today, the president took me to Kobayashi Pharmaceutical, intending to sign a share agreement with the board of directors of the company. After the agreement was signed, the president and the financial staff sent $4.5 billion to the account of the company. Then some people came in and the trouble began." When Nanako heard this, she asked in a puzzled way, "Isn't my father always wanting to invest in Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals?" Today this is what he wanted, so why is he angry? Hiroshi Tanaka said helplessly, before the president, the financial staff made the payment. We didn't know that company had actually changed hands. Changed ownership? Nanako asked in surprise, what's the matter? Didn't it mean that Jiro is missing? Is he back again? No, Koichi Tanaka explained. It's not Jiro who is back, but Jiro's brother, who is said to have been dead, suddenly came back alive. Ha! Nanako said with a bit of sorrow. What's the matter? Why am I getting more and more confused? Hey, Hiroshi Tanaka sighed and said, this is nothing. The point is that Ichiro, as the sole heir of Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals, transferred all the shares of Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals, 90% that is to be exact, to a Chinese company called JX Pharmaceuticals. Nanako was surprised and said, isn't my father investing in Kobayashi Pharmaceutical for 30%? Then Ichiro only has Kobayashi Pharmaceutical 70% shares. How can he transfer 90% of the shares of the company? Hiroshi Tanaka said in a stunned voice. This is the reason why the president is angry. He signed a share agreement with Masayoshi, the acting president of pharmaceuticals, and paid after the signing, but Ichiro is back, which means the equity agreement signed by Masayoshi is invalid. Nanako nodded slightly and said, so, my father's plan to buy a stake in Kobayashi Pharmaceutical has been lost?